So my dude, SaiyanSalamander here, and welcome to the latest edition of my Fire Emblem Heroes Re-Finery series. If you've missed any previous editions to the series, then let me fill you in on what it's all about. Basically, I take a look at some of the units in Fae that have already been given a refine, and change or buff them up so that they can compete with the latest units to enter the current metagame. So let's start things off with the first unit in this video that I'm going to be talking about, the Rose of the War of Sacred Stones, Emelia. Emelia is an armoured axe unit, and even though she's a 5-star unit, she's just an inferior version of Brave Ephraim. And even though Ephraim kinda should be better than her, being a brave unit and all, that doesn't mean she shouldn't have some new tricks to differentiate her from him a bit. Originally, she just had a slaying axe that granted her +5 speed and defense, as long as she's got a bonus or extra movement from a skill like Armor March. Whereas Brave Ephraim's Garm doesn't have an accelerated special cooldown, but gains +3 attack and +5 to all stats during combat, +7 health per attack, and finally makes a guaranteed follow-up attack and neutralizes effects that prevents his follow-up attacks too. So let's start off with the changes I made to Emelia. Her base effect is now not only a slaying axe, but a slaying axe that grants the unit with +3 speed to herself, and has a built-in joint hone armor, a brand new skill that grants her and adjacent armor allies with +7 attack and speed. As for her refine, the activation condition is the same, however it now boosts all stats instead of just speed and defense, and even grants her allies within 2 spaces the same buff too, making her a really nice armoured support unit. While the base activation conditions and even weapon and movement type are the same, I think Ephraim and Emelia stand out from each other, with Ephraim being a straight up tank that solos enemies on his own, while Emelia can dish out damage too, but brings a more support oriented kit to the table instead. I still think Brave Ephraim's much better just because of how good his survivability is, and I think Emelia's refine limits her a little bit more to our armor emblem teams, but if you want to use a speedy axe armor unit that can support the rest of your team, I think Emelia's a great choice, and is well worth the investment. Next up on the list, I was originally going to talk about Matthew, since I've got him at +9 currently, so I'd be down for him to get even stronger, but I'm behind on videos currently, and it was taking a bit too long to come up with an idea for him. So I ended up going with the Silver Nobleman, Klein, from the Binding Blade instead. Currently Klein just has a brave weapon that lowers his speed by -2 for the base effect, and as for the refine, it's pretty simple giving him chill defense 3. I kept the base concept of the weapon, but I buffed it up some more to make him a lot stronger. Now Klein's got a ninja weapon instead of a brave weapon, so rather than decreasing his speed by 2, his speed increases by 4, while decreasing his defense and resistance by 4 too. It also accelerates his special cooldown even further, so that he can charge up his special a bit quicker. As for the other effect, I figured while Chill Defense 3 is an okay skill, I didn't think it was good enough for a simple refine, so I figured I'd give him Speed Defense Rain 3 instead. It's a skill Klein doesn't usually have access to, and helps him deal more damage, and makes him even more likely to quad his foes too. Overall, I just improved what Klein is already best at. While the refine's really simple, it's pretty effective, and helps him stand out in a saturated unit type that the Colorless Infantry Bow class is. The third unit I'll be talking about definitely has one of the best effects in this video, but she'll need a lot of investment in order to make use of her new ability effectively. Up next is the Vengeful Mage, Sonia, from Gaiden and Shadows of Valentia. Originally her Dark Excalibur just had a Woe Dao effect built into it, so I buffed up the Woe Dao effect to a Spurn effect. But it's kinda like Spurn 4 since she still deals +10 damage when her special activates. This is an insane upgrade since mages don't usually have access to damage reduction skills like this. The only problem is Sonia's speed is pretty middling, so she's gonna need a ton of investment in order to use the skill effectively. I also gave her weapon a +3 bonus to speed, which helps out with this. But even with this extra speed, a boon, +10 merges, and Dragonflower, she only reaches 44 speed. Which is good, but there's plenty of units out there that can reach 50 speed or higher to really make use of a damage reduction skill like this. Finally, for a refine, I thought it'd be cool to give her a split refine path to make the unit a little bit more customizable. And I think I wish they did more of it in Fae and with preferred weapons, since it'll really change how everyone builds their own unit a lot more. Both refines still have Quick Impulse 2 built into it, though one refine has that plus Times Pulse 3, while the other one has Quick Impulse 2 and Special Spiral 3. They're both really good skills that combo insanely well with Quick Impulse, and it just adds a lot of uniqueness to the character by having this customizability. It really suits her too having a Fork refine path, since in Gaiden and Echoes, the way you recruit her is by choosing a fork in the road to fight either her or Dean. If you fight Dean, then you can recruit her afterwards, and if you recruit Dean, if you fight Sonia instead. It may be a little bit of a stretch saying a fork in the refined path references the choice between these two bosses, but hey, I think it's a cool reference. And like I said, I'm really down for more customizability between units. From one mage to another, the next unit is the last from afar, female Morgan. She was actually the first unit whose refiner created, since I originally planned to talk about her a couple videos ago, but then I ended up talking about Robin during that video instead. Her old refine increased all of her stats by 4 during combat as long as her res is higher than the foe, and she effectively got joint drive attack speed for her refine, which is also pretty nice. For the base weapon, I just buffed up the original effects of it. Her res is pretty good, but I figured it could stand to be a bit better because her weapon evolves around it. So her tome gives her +3 res and even neutralizes the foe's effective against flyer skills as an added bonus. The rest of the base effect is the same, however it boosts all her stats by 5 instead of 4, and now has close counter built into the weapon too, but only works if she has more res than a foe. For the refine, I was thinking I could just buff it up slightly to make it like Nino's, since Flyer Nino has the exact same joint drive attack speed refine, apart from that she gets an extra stat point in each, but instead I thought I'd go full in with Vareo's activation skills. For Morgan's new refine, it activates if a foe initiates combat or if Morgan has more res than the foe, and then she inflicts -5 attack speed and res and increases her special cooldown whenever Morgan attacks back. It's a really nice effect since one of the weaknesses of Cav and Flyer units is that they don't really have too many ways to charge up their special cooldown, so an effect like this is a very welcome addition to her base kit. The final unit in this video is my absolute favourite character across the entire series, and honestly I'm surprised it took me 5 videos to finally talk about her. So let me introduce Naga's voice, Adult Tiki. Adult Tiki is a unit that I really think deserves a lot more love in the game. Like, I know I'm biased saying that, but it seems like young Tiki always gets all the attention. She gets way more alt costumes, she's got a resplendent outfit, Adult Tiki even has to share the same preferred weapon, and refine as her too. I always thought both of them should have had different preferred weapons, so I'll talk about young Tiki and her Breath of Fog another time, and this time focus on Adult Tiki's new weapon, Divine Flame. It grants Tiki with +3 attack, and is still effective against dragon foes too. A lot of people, including me, wanted Tiki to have a distant counter weapon, since her original breath is Lightning Breath Plus, so that's what I decided to give her. Instead of Renewal being part of her base kit, I gave her an effect similar to Legendary Seliph and Brave Ephraim instead, so she gains +7 HP every time she attacks. Next up, her refine is awful. Like, I get to reference Marth and Bantu, but as a red dragon, you're not really gonna run a sword unit with her, so it kinda just limits her to being on a Dragon Emblem team. Plus, it's literally attack defense 1-3. Nothing special with it at all. Like, if you're gonna put a condition like that on her, then the skill should at least either be one that she doesn't have access to, or a supercharged version of a skill, and have the conditions there to nerf it slightly. So I evolved the conditional attack defense one that she currently has into a conditional Spectrum Unity refine. Now, as long as she has her support partner or a fellow dragon unit within 2 spaces of her, she has attack, defense, speed, res unity included in her base kit. Might be a little bit too busted for a 3-star, 4-star Gen 1 unit, but hey, it's a conditional effect. Plus, come on, she's my favourite character in the series. Cut me some slack, I wanted her to be an amazing character. With her new abilities, it makes her an amazing mix tank, and it even makes her speed a lot more workable. And even with a little investment, will help at least prevent doubles from her enemies, and may help her double her foes too with enough investment. That's enough gushing about Adult Tiki, and like I said, I'll talk about young Tiki in another Re-Finery video. So I hope you enjoyed the latest edition of the series, my dudes. If you did, please leave a like, subscribe to see more content, and leave a comment on your favourite refine I made, and which characters you'd like to see me talk about more in the future. I also make a ton of content over on Twitch, and have a Discord channel which will be linked in the description below. So if you want to see me play some games live, or want to hang out with the rest of the community more, then check out the links in the description below. Again, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one, my dudes. Until next time, bye!